The three most important findings that could be addressed in terms of our workshop were probably first, that it is possible to develop frameworks that can be shared across nations and cultural contexts, as long as you are identifying at a high level the most important components for integrating STEM education for sustainable development. A second finding from the workshop was that it's really important to make certain that those frameworks can be applied to multiple disciplines and in multiple places, but that we are bringing students from understanding who they are as an individual to understanding their learning disposition, their cultural context, their background knowledge, having them question and investigate a particular issue that's driven by their local place, so place-based learning, making certain that students are critically thinking about the issue, but also understanding it from a systemic perspective. And I think finally, the third thing that we learned is that this is not just about individuals, although individual identity makes a difference when you're helping students understand who they are in the context of the broader social environment, but that they also are able to see themselves in this broader place. One of the most important thematic understandings that came from the conference that should be explored further probably include the idea that, is it possible for us in an international dialogue to share ideas that are applicable to other regions? How critical is it for us to develop frameworks, for example, that are shared but also can be applied in very different regions, including both developed and developing economies, and keeping in mind that these places are very different from one another. And so I think one of the things that should be explored is how to continue the dialogue once we leave this conference. It's not just about the 2 days that we're here. It's about the continued communication and collaboration once we leave. And then I think it's really important that once we come back in 2 more years, that we actually see some change happening at the local level, and how do we measure that change? When you work in any region of the world, you believe that what you're doing is applicable to the students that you're working with. But what we found from this international dialogue is that there are many of the same issues that we're dealing with in our own individual region is applicable to people and students all over the world. And there are common themes that have emerged from being in the room together. And I think that's what's really exciting, that whether you're in Nairobi or in Brazil or in Mexico or in the US or in Germany, that we all are recognizing how important it is that students feel empowered to know that what they're learning isn't something that ends once they leave their classroom, that this is something that they can use to make a difference in their own community.